I got a lot of, I didn't want to like you guys, but you guys were really good today. I just wanted to tell you that.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
So, well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Why don't we just kick this off with the most important question of all? Why is or was at some point Def Leppard the greatest band of all time?
So I grew up in a household where my two oldest siblings were teenagers in the 80s. So around, I think it was, God, when did Hysteria come out? 86, 87, something like that.
Yeah.
I was always passing by my oldest brother and sister watching MTV, and 80s music such as Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, the Eurythmics, stuff like that was always coming out of their bedroom. And so eventually I started watching MTV on my own, and at the time, I believe Alice Cooper's album Trash was out, Hysteria, I forget what album it's on, but Rhythm of Love by the Scorpions was getting played a lot, stuff like that. But when I first saw Pour Some Sugar on Me, that was the moment where I realized that I need to pick up a guitar and get to work.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I mean, obviously, you've shared many times how that was the start for you, and I'm sure most of the DEVILDRIVER fans will know how much you loved that band, or how important that band was for you. But let's get to business and talk about what we want to talk about, the new DEVILDRIVER album out. And I say new, but really I should say finally you guys get to release this album. This is part 2 of 2 albums that were basically created at the same time. So do you have a feeling right now of oh yeah, right, that album that we finished such a long time ago, are you still close to it at all? How is it for you releasing part 2 of an album 2 years after you originally wanted to release it?
It's actually more, it's more like 4 years.
There you go.
3.5, 4 years, because I finished my parts on this record, I believe, in November of 2018. And then Dez finished recording his vocals, I think, in February of 19. And it took a very long time to mix, and we broke Steve Evans. I think he had fun doing the whole record, but because it was a very fun record to do. But by the time he was done mixing 20 songs, he was like, "This is the last time I'm ever doing a double record. This is just." It feels good to finally get it out, and I got to admit, I stopped listening to it, and for a very long time, I think maybe in the last 3-4 years. Well, let's see. Okay, so we had it mixed and mastered, which you still listen to the songs a lot before you get that done. But I would say by the time we had it mastered, I maybe listened to the whole album 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
But now that we've and Dealing with Demons 1 has been out for a long time, but Dealing with Demons 2, I had to start putting back in my car, started listening to again, and becoming re-familiar with it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems old to me. Records always have a tendency to seem old anyway.
Right.
By the time you get them out, that's only with maybe a 6-month gap between when you finally get it mastered and when the release date, and now we've got 3.5 years. So yeah, it's weird, weird times, and I've just kind of become acclimated to the weirdness that our world is today.
Now you say the word today, a word that's very similar to that is tomorrow, and what people won't know when they see this video is when we are recording this is actually the day before the release date, but also the day before Dez's birthday.
Yeah.
So Like for the band, given what you just said, like if kind of feels like it's been, on the back burner for a while. Like will the band celebrate Dez's birthday at all tomorrow? Like what's a bigger occasion?
Well, he's going to be up at Sick New World in Vegas because they're playing the day after his birthday on. Oh, wait a second. Tomorrow's his birthday, and then
13th
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I'm getting my days right, and I'm actually flying up there. I haven't gotten confirmation that I'm actually getting into the festival now yet because I didn't buy tickets. It's sold out too quickly, but me and my fiance are heading up there, and at the very least, we're going to go see Sisters of Mercy the next day after Sick New World because they're one of my favorite bands. I've always been on tour when they played LA. They play maybe a handful of shows a year, if that.
Right.
And I'm not missing that. So I have tickets to that. I know I'm getting into that show, but I'm not sure I'm going to be getting into Sick New World. And I will not be seeing Dez, unfortunately, on Friday because I'm not leaving until Saturday. And whether I even get a chance to see him at that festival or not kind of remains to be seen. We'll see what happens.
This is album number 10, and we are in the 20th anniversary year for the band. Like, are you at all a nostalgic person? Like, do you look at those milestones and go, like, we should do something about that? Or are you like, I'm only looking one way and it's not backwards?
I think it would be cool to do an anniversary show for either The Fury or The Last Kind Words, because those were turning points for the band. When I wasn't in the band when they recorded the first record with Evan, and by the time we got to The Fury, a lot of that, Dez was in this new metal band called Cold Chamber, So I Don't Want to Like Devil Driver. That vibe that surrounded us like a dark cloud, which just followed us everywhere for the first few years of this band, started to go away. And I had a lot of people, especially at festivals, where people weren't planning on to see us, but I think wanted to go see us just to see how bad we were, and would come up to us at our signing or whatever, or I'd be out watching other bands, and I got a lot of, I didn't want to like you guys, but you guys were really good today. I just wanted to tell you that, So when we released The Fury, that was the beginning of that. When we released The Last Kind Words, it seemed to be cemented.
Right.
Dez had finally proved that it wasn't just a side project to Cold Chamber.
Right.
It was not going to sound like a new metal band. We were going to stand up on our own 2 feet, and that's when I really started to see this growth, where we turned from a support act into a headlining act, and it felt really fucking good when we got to that point, and so yeah, those 2 records I think first of all, Fury was the first record I did with the band, and by the time we got to The Last Kind Words, it really felt like we were doing something right that everyone, or a lot of people, really liked, and good stepping stones for us.
But definitely not the only thing, or always present maybe, but what I have always felt was one of your secret weapons was the I wouldn't label you guys as motivational speakers necessarily, but there's always an uplifting or an encouraging element to Devil Driver, and both the music, but also from a lyrics perspective, there's this energy and strength that you can take out of it. Very different from a lot of other, melodic death metal or whatever you want to call it. I remember from an interview that you did, maybe 7 or 8 years ago or something like that, where you described joining the band, and that you were at that time, that was part of positive change you were making in your life, and that you needed to make that change at that time. is that therefore an important part for you, that this band also is a band that gives hope, that encourages people, that's part of your mantra, if that's fair?
As far as Dez's vocals go, yes. You know, he writes a lot on that very subject, and you know, about believing in yourself and finding motivation to basically conjure up whatever it is you want in life to hit you in the face. And yeah, for me personally, I wasn't very happy in Santa Barbara at the time. I had just nothing serious, but I kind of wanted to get out of there
right
at that time. And they came right at the perfect time. Like, I was kind of in a mental slump, and all of a sudden, just, you know, one day, Jeff Kendrick came over to my house. He was actually crashing with me at the time because him and Jon Miller didn't have any place to live between tours. And, well, you want to go to Europe with us and open up for In Flames? Sure. Yeah, I'll drop out of school, I'll quit my job, and I'll quit my other band. Let's go. And 2 days later, I was on a flight to Sweden. So it was surreal, and you know, just never been on tour before. I'd played shows with local bands in Santa Barbara and a little bit around Los Angeles, but never been on a tour bus. You know, I went to Europe once I went to Germany once with my dad when I was 10 years old to visit relatives, and I didn't know what I was getting into. But they were cool. Everyone showed me the ropes. You know, a lot of the other guys in Devil Driver had only done 2 tours at this point, so they were kind of new at it too. But you know, Dez was very well versed in touring at that point, and it was fun. I didn't want to go home. It was a short tour. It was only about 2 or 3 weeks, but it was fun. And I knew when I was out there that I couldn't go back to my old life. I didn't want to do it anymore. I needed something new.
If you look at the members in the band, it looks like you and Dez couldn't be more different from a character perspective. Like, you're the laid back guy that always seems to be like pretty grounded, and Dez is kind of like this, I don't know, nuclear bomb that can go off any moment, and that, you know, needs to do 5 things every second, otherwise he's unhappy. Like, how do you guys make that work? Because I can imagine that those different styles could clash at times.
I wouldn't say that they clash. Dez and I we get along pretty damn well. We've got a lot of similar interests, you know, that he didn't really have with some of the other guys in the past, you know, such our love for goth music. I'm a little bit more into industrial, he's a little bit more into goth, but we've always been able to talk about that and outlaw country and bluegrass, and we just have a lot of little similarities. And yeah, I guess it's just kind of the guitar player frontman dynamic. You know, Dez is, you know, Steven Tyler. I'm more of the Perry vibe, and just, yeah, I guess I can't be labeled as the kind of go with the flow type of person, and I try to be as laid back as possible. Not that I don't have my moments, you know. Sure. I could be a little sparky from time to time when necessary, but yeah, I mean, the way Dez is part of what makes him a great frontman. You know, he's outspoken, wants to be heard, and he's got a lot on his mind. He's not willing to, or he likes to let people know what's on his mind.
I mean, any double album for any band is always like this apex moment. So as a writer, given that you've already moved on, where do you go to? Do you see that are you exploring very different things after doing this crazy collection of songs, or which direction are you writing, if that's a fair question?
We've already started writing for the next record, and I've got one song that's pretty much done and a few others that are in the works. And I had a very unexpected short writing session with Jon Miller here, and we haven't written any music together in 13 years. But he had to fly in from Maine so we could shoot the This Relationship is Broken video last week. And we just came in my studio and I started playing him some of the stuff, and before I know it, he's like, looking around for a guitar, and let me plug in, and it made me realize how. I mean, I already knew that Miller was a very big part of writing with this band. He wrote a lot of the favorites, and he. I'm not sure if. How much time he actually spent writing on his time away from the band, but I know he has been writing again, and it's going to be interesting. We're going back into the Jon Miller writing style again, and that other day, the few little things that we came up with together made me realize, like how excited I'm going to be about this next record, having him back as a writing partner again.
Yeah.
So that's the direction. There's going to be. I definitely have a much different way of writing now than when Jon Miller was in the band.
Right.
But I think he kind of put everything on hold. So I think everything that he would have written, let's say, he quit the band 13 years ago, where I think he's kind of continuing right where he left off.
Right.
Where I've had 13 years of writing, adjusting my style, discovering new things, realizing what I don't want to write anymore, where we're going to get a very old school vibe of The Last Kind Words, The Fury, Pray for Villains, Beast. Like, people that miss some of the vibe that were on those records, you're going to get it on the next one because Jon Miller's back in the band. And I am very excited about it.
Well, I hope that it won't take 4 or 5 years for you to be allowed to talk about those songs. From now.
No, I think we'll probably record it sometime next year, and maybe it'll be out late 2024 or early 2025. I'm guessing, as long as the world doesn't get shut down again.
Yeah. You've already shared with me that, well, first of all, hopefully you'll survive Las Vegas this weekend. And Dez as well. Second, we should not keep our fingers crossed for you guys to play every song on these 2 albums, and that you're already kind of thinking or working on the next album. So, but in between all of that, you're going to promote these releases. So, to wrap us up, what can we expect from you guys? What should we keep our eyes open for?
We got another tour coming up in the States in October with Cradle of Filth again. I believe we're going to do a 3rd tour early 2024 with them as well, and basically a 3rd leg in the States. We're working on Australia, we're working on Japan, and I'm hoping that in 2024 we'll be heading back to Europe for some summer festivals. And all in between all that, we'll be working on writing for a new record. That's the plan.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I want to thank you so much for your time and answering all these questions that I have for you, and going a little bit back in history with me as well to your early Def Leppard days. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you guys all the best with the actual release tomorrow, and I hope you can just kind of take a step back and enjoy that show of the Sisters of Mercy and laugh at people that wonder why there's no drummer on stage and stuff like that. Or I can't see it with all the smoke. There's so much smoke around the drummer, can't even see him. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys on that stage very soon.
Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it, and subscribe to the channel.